Have you ever felt like you need a vacation, but your business won't let you? As a real estate agent or entrepreneur, many times your business can make you feel like you can't take time off. But what if I told you it's not only possible, it is essential? The constant battle of managing work and personal life, not to mention client requests, team needs, make you feel like you can never unplug. But I literally just took a 3-week vacation. I'm gonna share some of my secrets on how I manage my team of 30, close to 50 listings in a large territory, and ran 2 companies while having an absolute blast. Some may argue that taking a vacation is a luxury that entrepreneurs cannot afford, but I'm gonna be here to challenge that notion. I would argue that you have to take vacations, you have to front load your year to recharge, and I would go even so far as to say that if I am recharged and you are not, and we are up against the same pitch, you will not be able to compete with me. So I'm gonna bring you along the journey so that you can keep up. Let's have some fun. Early on in my career, we had planned a family vacation and I was not proactive, and the result was me spending the entire vacation running around, responding to people on my phone, putting out fires, dealing with client requests, negotiating deals, answering questions for my team because I didn't have a plan. I realized that in my mind, I thought I was hustling, working hard, trying to put food on my table for my family, but I was losing those moments that I was never gonna get back with my family. And although sometimes you have to work hard to realize what matters and what doesn't, I didn't want to ever experience that again. So I started researching how the top entrepreneurs, real estate agent, team leads, and business owners plan to take vacation to be even more effective than they are when they are at home. And here's what I learned. The number one thing I learned was they set clear boundaries and expectations, both for their clients, their team, and their families. They looked at the roadmap of what are the most important things I need to do on a daily basis. And we run a real estate brokerage. I'm not a brain surgeon. What we are really good at is generating a boatload of interest in leads on our properties or working with buyers to find them opportunities, responding and getting information in a prompt manner, and then doing transaction management and negotiations. So all of those things can be systemized if you set the boundaries up. So the first thing that I did was I figured out a communication plan to make sure that we can stay on top of all of our leads. And there are 3 main types of communication. You're gonna have online inquiries, which usually come in the form of email and messenger apps and Instagram DMs. You're gonna have text messages, which are usually a little bit more pertinent or crucial than emails and online communications, and then the mother of all communications, the actual phone call. So we set up a system to batch reviewing all of our communication 30 minutes in the morning from 7 till 7:30, typically before the world wakes up, 15 minutes at lunchtime, and then 30 minutes at the end of the day. That way, the bulk of the communication that comes in that way is getting touched in 6 to 12 hour cycles, which is much faster than the majority of agents in my industry. For text messages, I would set up a system where my phone number, my text message would be forwarded to my executive assistant or team leads. So we leverage technology to make sure that no communication gets unmissed. And those leaders also know how I think and how I respond to things. So making sure that you set that all up ahead of time and train makes it a lot easier when those communications come in, that they don't have to stop me from what I'm doing to get a response, that they know what the prime decision matrix is. Now it does take time to set that up, but slow down to speed up. If you start breaking down what actually happens throughout your daytime and build a system around it, it's a lot easier to delegate that system, and then it becomes much easier to inspect what you expect. Instead of me having to respond to every single message that comes in, I make sure the system and the quality is as high as it needs to be and make adjustments as we go. That was one of the biggest unlocks, because I can tell you, as an entrepreneur or business owner or real estate agent, the biggest thing that is gonna take you away from your family is not having a system to control communications. Now, I touched on expectations. I think being honest with your clients is super important. So a lot of my clients, my team, my referral partners know when I'm away and know when I'm not. And if it's a super important thing, they will get my time, and we are gonna handle business, right? Even if I'm on vacation, I've set expectations with my wife. Even my daughter understands the nature of our business. And if I am doing something that it's insanely highly dollar productive or urgent, and I have an allowance for that, But again, if I set expectations from the beginning, then there's no conversation about why I'm taking a phone call, and also they know that my heart is in the right place. From a client perspective as well, a lot of communication can happen within business hours, and I find that if you are proactive in communicating with your clients what you're doing, a lot of times they're not even gonna be asking you questions. Questions arise when your clients assume you're doing nothing, because if you don't tell them you're doing anything, they still have a property to sell or they still have a property to buy. So being proactive in the communication, one of the biggest hacks is when I am on vacation, I actually like my job a lot. I'll block off a solid hour in the morning. I'll usually wake up early, get a quick workout in, and go and sit down with my laptop and go through and touch my files and my clients and make sure we are moving the ball in the end zone. Typically, you get a 4 to 6 month mandate in real estate. I'm always operating on a ticking clock, assuming all my clients are gonna fire me and I'm gonna be unemployed tomorrow, and we're always trying to move the ball forward. I'm also trying to serve my team by helping them. So a lot of times my team members are getting messages early in the morning when I'm on vacation, me just updating them on the status of different projects, different things that we're working on at Prime, so they still feel like they have leadership and I am not completely checked out. And what's wild is leaders beget leaders. There's not a single person at Prime that I feel like works for me. Even Nico behind this camera to me is a partner in the production side of our business, and they have that decentralized command to feel like they are leaders in the organization as well. But if you think about it, and I just check out when I'm on vacation, and then I'm just, flying around on jet skis, driving boats, and could care less about what's happening from a company perspective, they're not gonna have any leadership and they'll end up searching for it somewhere else. So I personally find that you still wanna have a cadence from a leader perspective to make sure that you're checking in on your files. If you have a system that is just flying and you've greased that groove and you have a great leadership team under you, I think maybe you can do a once a week check-in. I'm not there yet from the standpoint that I personally still like being involved in the day-to-day operations and have set around parameters so that I can scratch that itch so I'm not thinking about the files and being distracted in my day. Keep in mind, I do it before my family wakes up so it doesn't impede from our actual vacation time. Another trend that I saw with leaders is they leverage technology. I talked about having all these different platforms for communication. I personally like using a project management software and a CRM as well. A project management software is simply a software to help you manage all of your different teams and all of your different projects. Here's an example. So if we're carrying 50 listings at Prime, your average agent wouldn't be able to do that. But our project management software allows us to have every single one of our listings in the master listings board. Each one of those listings, if it's in pre-launch, has a sequence of events that happens the same way every time, that's tied into my production team, my administrative team, my entire organization. Once we launch the listing, there's a whole sequence of checklists that get automated from that standpoint. And when we sell the listing, there's another checklist that triggers and automates. So we can do the volume of a brokerage that's 10 times our size because our systems are dialed in. So project management software, super important. I've done other videos on this channel about that side of our business, so make sure you subscribe and not miss those videos. And without a doubt, the CRM. So making sure you have your CRM set up properly so that your clients are being tagged and categorized based on where they're at in the buying or selling process makes my life a lot easier. One thing that my team does on a regular basis is something we like to call the red zone meeting, getting the ball in the red zone for our clients. What's really cool is I've been watching the replays while I was on vacation of my team's red zone meetings, and they have the cadence down to an art. They review what they're working on, they review their open deals, they role play, and they go over roadblocks as a collective. So it's been really cool to see how creating a system, training the system, implementing the system has created this doom loop where it's really slow in the beginning, takes a lot of time to get the wheel going, but it starts spinning up and going faster and faster even when you're not there. And the last hack that I have for you is realizing sometimes that taking yourself out of the system allows you to gain perspective. Letting the equipment rest is one of the most important things you can do in business. Chick-fil-A is one of the most successful companies on the face of the earth, and they close on Sundays. They have Chick-fil-A's in football stadiums that do not open on Sundays. Imagine that. And how could they possibly do that and outsell their competition? I read Kathy Truitt's book, and he really speaks into it about how letting the equipment rest once a week allows their employees to have a perspective and feel energized when they come back to work. I would say any entrepreneur or leader should step out of the business and they'll probably get a clearer picture of what they need to work on when they get back. I can tell you that the next season of videos you're gonna see, a lot of the behind the scenes that you're gonna see on my TikTok and my Instagram and on these YouTube videos is gonna be heavily geared around culture and leadership. I have so much clarity on what we can do to even amp up the Red Zone meetings, the family reunions, the in-person, the event stuff that we do for all of our partners, the masterminds. If you're a part of the Prime Nation, the Prime community, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, comment the words Prime Nation. I will get you an invite to our in-person events. You can meet our podcast guests. You can be part of this community. I couldn't be more excited. I couldn't be more energized because I stepped back and I recharged. There's no such thing as work-life balance. Everything, including our vacation, incorporated some personal stuff, incorporated some business stuff, and incorporated some downtime with my family. But the one takeaway I want you to have from this video is if you don't have a plan, you have a plan. Your plan is just not having a plan. I lived my life like that for a very long time. I didn't enjoy my vacations as much as I just enjoyed the last one. So hopefully you got some value from this video. If you did, jump in the comments, let me know what your biggest takeaway was. If there's anything I spoke about that you want me to expand on, do another video on, let me know in the comments. I do these videos for you. You can't hire me to coach you. I'm not selling you anything. Just like and subscribe and give me a little bit of feedback so I can give you even more value next time. Appreciate you being here, and I'll see you on the next one.